All right, let's do it. Let's talk about housing production in Portland. Last week, City Council unanimously passed the city's first ever housing production strategy. So what on earth does that mean? Well, we'll explain in a moment, but let's look at some of the current data on why housing is so critical right now. According to a housing need report from the city, Portland needs to create more than 120,000 new housing units over the next 20 years to meet growing demand and historic underproduction. More than half of those, 63,000, will need to be affordable, which is defined as people earning less than 80% of the area's median income. For a single person, that's around $66,000 a year, and for a family of three, it's just north of $81,000. In order to hit that target, the city needs to build around 5,200 new housing units every year. And Governor Kotek's housing goal is even higher than that, pushing for about 6,000 units a year by 2032. So how has the city fared recently in regards to those goals? Not great. In the 6 years between 2018 and 2023, Portland averaged just over 3,100 new units a year. That's not even close to the 5,200 they're talking about now. The best year in the span was actually 2020 with 5,500, so it can be done, but has not been happening lately. And this year is not looking that great. Through the first 6 months of the year, only around 1,000 new units had been permitted. That's far below the normal amount for this time in previous years. This graph shows how badly things have fallen off since 2022.
The fact remains the city and the state's goals are not being reached. We need to be at roughly 5,000 units per year to reach our agreed upon housing goals. In 2023, we produced a little under 1,500 units. This year, we are also on pace to significantly underperform our goals. That means our problems are getting worse.
So how will this new housing strategy try to help? Commissioner Carmen Rubio, who proposed the new plan, says there are nearly 36 ways.
There are 35 items in the housing production strategy. These are 35 ways that we can adjust the levers we control and use the tools in our toolkit.
What are the hierarchy of things we control that can help on the supply side of the housing equation? I think of zoning, first and foremost. That is probably the biggest lever that we can pull.
The majority of the tools in the 214-page document are there to remove red tape, which is a theme that we've heard about for years. A few of the bigger items include finding a new revenue source for housing bonds, which are the largest funding sources for affordable housing. Another is looking for more mega projects to create hundreds of new units at once. An example would be the Broadway Corridor. That's the 34-acre development of the former post office in the Pearl District of Portland. Another would be to reevaluate the law requiring new buildings with more than 20 units to provide reduced rent for some of those units. Developers have said that's often an obstacle. Commissioner Rubio also wants the city to move faster to get permits to build more affordable housing. She wants permitting done within 90, quote, city desk days. Right now it takes between 3 and 8 months for permitting approval. Despite this being the first ever housing production strategy, Commissioner Renee Gonzalez does not believe it will produce the needed results.
Portland has been in a continuous state of housing emergency since 2015. I appreciate the work that has been presented today, but I am concerned that it is too incremental and lacks the robust response necessary to respond to the crisis in housing production for our city.
And it's probably worth noting here that Rubio and Gonzalez are running against each other and several others to become Portland's next mayor. Any developers out there want to weigh in on this as well? We often hear from you after talking about housing production in the Rose City. What are the biggest obstacles stopping you from building in Portland? Email us and let us know, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090.